Hi, my name is Ashley Cower and I'm submitting my interview video. I don't have anyone to read off the questions, so I'm just going to be reading them off and answering them as I go. So, what motivates you to want to be a nurse? There's a lot that motivates me to want to be a nurse, and going through nursing school, there were things that changed and were added on to that motivation, but the essence of it is I enjoy how challenging it is on you spiritually, intellectually, mentally, physically. Um, and I think that those challenges overall just help me become a better person in myself and a better person for other people. And especially in patient care, I enjoy being able to provide good care and see the change that I can have and the impact I can have on patients' lives. That really brings me a lot of joy and motivates me to be a nurse. What do you feel is your biggest area in need of improvement and why? I think my biggest area in need of improvement is my time management and organization, in the sense that I tend to say yes to a lot of people and yes to a lot of things, and that takes a toll on me. And I'm just trying to find a balance in my work life and personal life, and a healthy balance between recognizing what I can and cannot do. And I think that that will play really heavily into my nursing career as well, and I acknowledge it, and it is something that I am improving and working on every day. I implement that change into my personal life, like I said, and my work life as well, recognizing when I'm working too much or when I'm overburdened and I cannot extend myself or spread myself thin, because I do recognize spreading yourself thin can be dangerous, especially in the nursing field. So it's something that I'm changing, and I plan to have a healthy balance in my life between the yeses and nos. Think about a time when something went wrong with a patient. What was the situation? What did you do to address it? And what was the outcome? Um, a time that something went wrong with a patient is probably when I was transporting and I had a patient. I was grabbing her from CAT scan and bringing her up to MRI, and we got up to MRI. The patient said that she had to use the restroom. And the policy at my facility is that inpatients coming from the ER are not allowed to go to the restroom up in the MRI because it's a safety hazard for the techs. So the tech refused for the patient to go to the restroom, and MRIs, you have to stay still for them, so the patient was pretty concerned about being able to get a good picture. And so she was a little frustrated, and I knew how to provide a bedpan. I knew how to take care of a bedpan, and I did that for the patient. I said that I would stay with her. I wasn't gonna let her just urinate all over herself in the gurney, or hold it to where she was in so much pain to where she couldn't get a good picture and kind of waste all that time that she was waiting. So I stayed an extra 15-20 minutes of my shift and sat with her with the bedpan, helped her clean up. And this is kind of not within my transporting job, but I know how to do it from CNA and nursing school, so I gladly did that, and she was very grateful for it. And yeah, I think that was the time that something went wrong, in the sense that preparedness wasn't there from the tech side and from transport and the nurse. It was kind of just an unexpected situation. So yeah. And I think that ties in with the next question, is the time that I advocated for the patient when it was difficult, because the tech really did not want anything to do with her bathroom situation, and she didn't really know how to handle it. And because I was trained in it, I was happy to stay an extra 15-20 minutes to help the patient out and advocate for her that she needed to use the restroom and she shouldn't urinate all over herself, because, no one wants to do that. So, yeah. Describe a situation in which you didn't agree with a nurse's decision. How did you address the situation and what was the outcome? A situation where I didn't agree with the nurse's decision, again, at the facility I was working at as a transporter. The policy is that if a patient is on more than 6 liters, the nurse has to assist with the transport. And so what had happened is I went up to the floor, I, went and I talked to the nurse, and I saw that I set eyes on the patient, and I saw that the patient was on 5 liters, I believe, and the nurse said that we would bump them up to 6 liters. And so I informed the nurse that if they're going to go on 6 liters, then the nurse would just have to come with me. It was a quick scan and we'd be done. but the nurse stated that that was the patient's baseline. So because it was the baseline, the nurse did not have to go. And I informed the nurse of our policy and why it was important that she needed to come along for this transport, for the care of the patient. If something were to go wrong, I wasn't qualified to take care of it, and it was just the policy, and I didn't want her to get in trouble for it. I didn't want to get in trouble with it. I wanted the patient to be safe, and so after communicating with the nurse and addressing that situation with the nurse realized that it was not worth the risk of not coming along and the patient suffering consequences, me or her suffering consequences. So she came along and everything went fine that way. And then tell me about a specific example when you faced change. What was the situation? What did you do or say? And what was the outcome? So with that question, I actually think of a very specific scenario that's kind of happening right now, actually. At my facility, we have some budget cuts, and some people are getting laid off, and so because of that, we're a little bit short-staffed. And with that happening, I'm PRN, so as needed, I am, being asked to come in a little bit more and help out the team. And that's a change, having to come in more, especially with school and creating a balance. So that change in itself, it was a little bit of a shift with my, school, work life, and all of that. So, but I was happy to make it because I do recognize that these things happen. And when there's difficult things that occur, especially in a workplace, my thought process with it is the best way you can handle it is relying on team and recognizing that we are a one unit. And if I were not to step in and to help, then everyone else would struggle and would have to pick up more shifts, and it would be harder on everyone else. So because of that, I recognize that the change is occurring. I recognize that it's the right thing to do to help pick up some shifts and to support my team in whichever way that I could, because I know that everyone is being affected by this. So yeah, and I think the outcome of it is that everyone is feeling the unity of helping each other out and kind of leaning on each other during this little bit of a difficult time. But yeah, so that is my answer to all the questions, and I'm very grateful for this experience, and I hope you guys have a good day. Thank you.